man, got too much stuff going on, man. Talking Loud podcast is always Diesel Dog. And guys, today we're talking literally everything from seed, better get your right genetics, all the way to harvest, man, because we're going to give you guys a few tips and tricks, walk you guys a few things if you're a beginner, maybe an intermediate, who knows? But all I know is that we got a panel of awesome guests today. So let me bring the boys in, man. What's going on, homies?
What's going on?
What's
How
up?
you guys
What's
doing?
up, man?
Appreciate it.
Man, we got all the homies in the house today, man. Shout yourselves out. We got Rue right next to me over here. Right underneath here, we got L. Shout out my homie L. And last but not least, my homie Chris. Where are you, Chris, down here? Shout out, Chris. What's going on, bro?
What's up, Matt? Man, it's good for all of us to be in the same area for a little while.
Yeah, this is our first time everybody face to face actually having a conversation. It's nice. Very cool.
I've been waiting on it. I knew you and Chris knew each other, so I've been waiting. I'm like, been telling Chris, when's it gonna happen, dude? Make it happen. We need to get on the iCan.
Yeah, bro.
There you go.
Chris is my boy. I feel like I always be hanging out with Chris, see Chris all the time. Like, probably going to see Chris later this week, next week. Who knows? He's always there, man. But first time hanging out with you guys, like on a show like this, interacting, and I'm really excited, man. So I'm stoked for you guys. But today, guys, we're going to be talking about everything from seed all the way to harvest. You know, if you guys got any genetics you guys are running, drop it in the comments. Let us know. We want to find out what you guys are running. And of course, we also got tons of things to get through. But first, we got to shout out you guys. Everyone watching right now, because this episode is brought to you by iCan Organics and the iCan VIP Bean Club. Easy release slow fertilizer with every single drop. Like, what's there not to love, man? Autos, photos, regs, mailboxes are always burning down. And the iCan Veg Pack will have your plants exploding through veg. Growers have been pulling awesome fades with the iCan Flower Power, especially with that built-in bacteria boost. We got it right here, man. So grab the bundle today, use the code ICANTHC and grab a discount, man. But like I was saying, guys, we're going to be talking everything from seed all the way to harvest. And you guys are actually the perfect guys to have. Oh, my man, Chris has got it on deck.
There you go.
You guys are the Seed to Harvest podcast, boys. So tell us a little bit about that, man. Shout you guys out. Tell us what's going on.
Take it.
All right. Well,
they came up with the idea. I'll let them go with it.
Who came up with the idea? Let's start off with that, guys. Start up.
We're doing our thing on Instagram at first, just kind of going live on there every weekend. And Rue jumped in a couple of times and joined us, and we were having fun with it. But with Instagram comes a lot of difficulties. So we would get on and one of us couldn't hear or one of us wouldn't show up. So we'd just be talking to a blank screen. It got real frustrating, real hard to do. Yeah. So we decided, you know what, let's just try it on YouTube. And so we were trying to think of something to, some kind of premise to do. And I thought, well, why not try like a seed to harvest? And we can run somebody's genetics from seed all the way to harvest, kind of help them, showcase some of their new genetics or whatever. And then also, give us a platform to share some content in that form. So me and Chris kind of ran with it and fucking, and invited Rue on, and now here we are.
And we got lucky with the analyticals, because anytime that someone types in seed to harvest for any type of video, boom, we pop up. So that's
definitely check them out, man. You guys have got some great stuff going on. I've been checking you guys' videos out. I've been tapping in on you guys' lives and seeing what's going on, man. So definitely check them out, man, and give them a sub like I just did. And you'll see that little star thingy come up and you'll feel real good, man. So shout them out. And yeah, man, you guys are doing some great stuff, bro. But who came up with the name, bro? That name, you guys know it's a ritual. I gotta ask about the inspiration for the name. Who came up with the name? Was it straight up just for the analytics, or
I think it was just me and Chris were just bumping over Seed to Harvest podcast, and then I said, you know what, let's do podcast rather than podcast.
Because those words kept on coming up every time we were coming up and trying to figure out what style we wanted to do or whatever it was. Seed to Harvest kept on coming up, and then the podcast thing just like fell in. Yeah. So it worked out.
I got you. So all you guys have linked up in person yet? I know that Rue and Elle and Chris, you guys linked up recently in Colorado. But have all you guys linked up yet? I think that'd be dope.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Got to make it happen.
Hopefully.
We will.
Yeah,
we'll invite you. We'll invite. Yeah.
Yeah, man, that'll be dope. But shout out all you guys, man. I gotta say big ups to all you guys. I was watching all you guys individually before you guys actually started the Seed to Harvest podcast. Chris has been on my channel for a while and helping me out, supporting me. So I knew Chris for a long time now. And Rue, I've been watching Rue for a while now too. He's also been part of the iCan VIP Bean Club in the early days, like way back, like one of the OGs. I think we're on at the same time as Chris, man. And
Yeah,
L following your shit
back
too,
then.
man. Yeah, dude, literally. So I remember all that stuff, bro. I literally say like everyone who's part of the iCan VIP Bean Club is like family because I literally send all the packages myself. I get if there's any issues, like I respond to you guys. So I know everyone, even though I never seen people's face and stuff. Like I know their screen
You see the
name, like
or the handle come through.
I'm like, I know Rue. So it's fucking
Yeah,
dope,
I
man.
feel
It's really awesome, bro. And L, my man L, the dopest guy with all the kind of concepts, man. So shout out that as well, bro. You got some dope kind of concepts going on, and tell the people a little bit about that, bro.
Yeah, well, I started the website a while ago. It was Elcana Concepts to do logos and such. I got a little overwhelmed with the logos and whatnot, and I didn't use it for a while. And then we started the podcast, and I figured, you know what, I have this website, so let's start using that. So we're gonna start putting merch and stuff, and you can find everything on elcanaconcepts.com.
Nice,
I'm constantly
man.
working on new designs, new images, and different stuff like that. So.
I got you, bro. I literally have my Seed to Harvest podcast t-shirt right next to me, but it wasn't looking like as good as I wanted on the black on black background. But you guys gotta grab the Seed to Harvest podcast t-shirt, man. It's literally super dope. If you guys
you got the original, one of the original.
Yeah, you got one of the OGs, I believe.
OGs, man. I'm stoked for that, man. So I gotta say, shout out you guys. Shout out to Chris because he hooked me up with that personally. Much love, Chris. And
in person too, huh?
In person, bro. In person, man. I love it.
To you in hand.
I'm seeing a lot of people coming in right now in the chat already. The Seed to Harvest hat looks a lot like a SRH hat. I don't know what SRH means, but the S2H is pretty dope, man. I like it.
Unintentional.
And everyone
I did wear SRH back in the day.
What's SRH even mean?
It was support radical habits. It was like dirt biking, skateboarding.
Yeah.
They had like the spade.
Okay.
But it's a 2. I promise. See, it's a 2.
It's a 2. It's a 2.
I didn't know about that until he just said that.
Man, I like it.
I used to love that brand, man. I used to rock support radical.
I remember that now that you bring that up. I remember that. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
When we started. Oh, go ahead, Matt.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead, Chris.
When we started, we wanted to highlight somebody that to give us a hand too, a leg up. And Chris from Crop Culture Box stepped in and said, "Hey, man, let's do this." And it worked out for a great first season. Everything's drying, and we're gearing up for season 2.
Yeah, I like that, man. And speaking of drying and gearing up for season 2, look what I just got right here next to me. So this is actually pretty dope. I like it, man. So appreciate that, Chris. Shout out. But what I was going to say, bro, is that Seed to Harvest, that's what everyone is probably doing right now. They're probably somewhere on that journey, whether it's starting off from seeds, picking your genetics, you're vegging, flowering, or trying to get to harvest, and you can't freaking wait to sample your flowers so you don't have to hit up the shady guy around the corner. Right? So it's literally a journey, right? So let's start off. I want to just take everyone through the journey. So let's start off with like probably what people think is the most daunting part of the entire journey, right, guys? Starting off those beans, the seedling stage. Like, so how do you guys actually start off your seeds? There's a few different options. Like, if you're a beginner just starting out, you Google up some shit. It's like, okay, paper towel method, glass of water, straight into the medium. What's your guys' takes on all that? I'm gonna start with you, Rue.
Me personally, I was just drop it in water and paper towel method. For the longest time, I was actually having problems with the paper towel, so I went to just leaving them soaking in water for the whole time, just a little cup of water. But then after a while, I guess I was drowned in them, so I went back to the paper towel method. I did that in the beginning of this season. I finally hooked up with Mark at Root Nerds, so I got Root Nerds. So my last germination, I just germinated some James Loud and some Silly Rabbits with the Royal Plus, and dude, that thing popped some quick. Man, I wasn't expecting them to pop that quick, but as a paper towel, you stick it in the, maybe on the back of the refrigerator or something to give it a little warm, or wherever you can, a little behind a monitor, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Anything you can find a little warm spot. You know what I'm saying? And just paper towels, what I normally did. But yeah, sometimes I'd run into problems. If you didn't stay on top of it, or sometimes you would put too much water in there, just learning stuff. You wouldn't squeeze it out enough. I think I drowned them that way too. So
what about
with the Aurora Plus knocks that
all
apart.
that gone? So what about like the taproot growing into the paper towel? They're trying to take that out and it just rips, bro.
Snap it off.
I just started cutting them out. That's what somebody finally told me. They just said leave the paper towel on there and just cut it out.
Cut around
and then that fixed the problem of pull them off and then just seeing that little tail rip and you're like, no, you still plan it. You're like, oh, maybe it'll survive. It will not.
It's going nowhere.
I'm still gonna try though.
Yeah, bro. But coming to think of it, that makes sense because the paper towel will biodegradable, she'll disintegrate anyway.
Dissolve or
break into the medium or whatever, But what about you, Chris? How do you start your seeds off? Like,
the plug is Root Nerds, man. The Aurora plug. Can's got a way to do it, and we might be able to test that. But 100% germ rate, you can't beat that at all.
Yeah.
100%. Every seed that all of us put in popped the taproot and everything, and it was something due to us on the other side why they died.
Yeah.
But 100% germ rate. I've never done it any other way and had that success. So the Aurora Plus, it's a big hunk of piece of metal, but it's definitely worth it, man. It's like holding a brick in your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, you put it in a sock, you
feel that lid slap on there. It has those magnets and it comes down. You can probably even turn it all the way upside down and germinate that way, and nothing probably
I literally got one too, man, and I'm looking forward to actually popping some more genetics in it. I've been trying all types of different ways, so I use that. I use the can. I've been using like the Mars Hydro Aero Cloner, just popping it straight into that. I hate going directly into the medium, dude. But what about you, El? Like, what do you do?
Well, it's funny you say that because I actually enjoy going right into the medium.
I figured so.
This is one of yours. This is my pop my cherry, and I just went straight into the medium.
I like it, man. She's looking happy.
I love the Root Nerds. I think it's fucking great, especially if you're trying to go for a lot and do it quickly.
Yeah.
But I don't know. For some reason, I enjoy going straight in the soil and watching it do its thing.
Yeah, I can see like a lot of people in the chat already, like shouting out Root Nerds, and themselves are in the chat. So I gotta say, big up Root Nerds, guys. We had them on the show. Awesome guys over there, man. Check them out. And shout out to everyone in the chat too.
100% germ rate that way. Like we popped all 4, and my wife's and my oldest's did not make it.
Ooh.
My wife's looked like it was going to, and then I don't know, it just shriveled up, and maybe I didn't put enough water or something. But
like maybe damping off, bro. I hate damping off. Oh man, that's painful to see, but I'm glad at least you got like a couple of them to go through, man.
Yeah, we got 2 going strong, man. This one, this is the best of the 2. Looking good.
I like that. And so many different people already dropping in the chat too their preferences. Cool. Some people like straight to the soil. Some people, prefer the paper towel method. Some people use recharge and water. Shout out to Recharge if you guys want.
There you go.
Grab your Recharge. Definitely grab it. Hit that discount code iCan THC and give it a try, man. But a lot of people are using all types of different stuff, man. And Root Nerds, they don't have any pre-soak involved, and that's pretty useful. You don't have to pre-soak. Don't worry about your seeds drowning. But aside from all that, like, the first thing you guys will probably have to think of is your genetics. What genetics do I want to run? What type of plants do I want to run? Autos, photos, and like personally, I like just beating my plants up, training them, doing all types of stuff like that. So I've been growing a lot of photos lately and also trying to like work on my own strains. So we got like the Hulk's breakfast and stuff. But what do you guys look for in genetics? Do you guys look for anything in particular, like a certain flavor profile? Do you guys look for what's hot? Like for someone who's just starting out, like how do they decipher what sort of genetics to pick in the world of all these freaking genetics? I'm gonna go with you, Al. Let's go with you. I keep forgetting I got so many guests, bro.
I know, right? I'm relatively new, so my whole thing is I'm trying to fucking, excuse my language, I'm trying to pretty much try everything. Like I want to pop a little bit of everything and try everything and see what I like best. Because before I began growing, I would consume, but I didn't care about names or flavors or anything like that. I just wanted the effect, and that was it. Now that I actually grow it myself, I'm all about watching all the little details, all the cool stuff that comes along with it. So I want to try a little bit of everything. So I don't have anything in particular that I'm after. There is some that I really like to try, like some strawberry cough. I've never grown that. I don't think I've ever even smoked any of that.
Yeah.
Fucking baby diaper terps. I've never had any of that. I hear a lot about it. Permanent marker. I've never had any of that, but I am growing a
I heard
permanent
good
midnight.
stuff about that.
So that
Okay.
has a little bit of that in it. So
Okay, that'll be interesting. And I know my homie Rue, you always growing some of that gas, some of that James Loud. So tell us a little bit about what you got growing on right now, bro.
I got right now I got the Zauer Diesel, James Loud, and James Runts. And then also I got those are photo periods. Those are the first 2 photo periods I've ever grown from him. Everything else I've ever grown has been autoflowers from him. But and then on autoflowers, I got Silly Rabbits, which I got turned on through L. He hooked me up with them first of all. So he
you got something hanging behind you right now, right there too.
That's our season 1.
Yeah, that's season 1.
Man,
I got Cajun Crippler going again, and that strain is fire, dude. I'm telling everybody about it. Go hit him up, Silly Rabbits. Get that strain while he got it. I know last time I hit him up, I think he was running low on it or something. So let him know everybody wants it. He better start breeding the hell out of it. So yeah, that's I'm always wanting auto flowers and photos. I love having flowering stuff next to my veg. I love going in my veg area and having the flower, something flowering and veg, seedling all in one area. So I always have auto flowers. I just love growing weed in general. So I don't knock auto flowers. I love having them. Dude, there's some fire auto flowers. I mean, people still laugh at it and say they brush it aside. To each their own, saying, hey, don't grow them if you think it's a waste of time. You know what I'm saying? I'm not telling you to. I just tell you how I like it and what I do. But yeah, dude, I always have auto flowers going and photos. And so I'm browsing James Loud right now. And then
Chris saw some amazing auto flowers at Build-A-Soil they had just sitting in the warehouse. You remember that? Those things were super greasy. They were just
damn.
Yeah,
you guys went out and actually saw the whole Build-A-Soil. I seen someone drop it in the chat where I'm a Build-A-Soil fam at, and you guys actually went out to the whole Build-A-Soil warehouse, saw the whole operation and everything. How was that, bro?
That was super exciting, man. Like the first time that I got to meet you, kind of stardom or whatever it was, but we're all content creators, so that wore off really quick. And then it was just really, really interesting to see where all the magic was happening. You could tell that he's in a warehouse, but you don't realize that, hey, it's the store and part of the operation all right in there. And then, really interesting to see how they have everything set up and how they have things planned. So it's not a fly by night when they're doing their filming. It was really interesting. And then Elle got to see all the other
schedule
stuff
up and everything. Like it's a whole operation over there.
For sure, man. Like they doing some great stuff over there. So shout out to Jeremy at Build-A-Soil, man. I love the guy. They got some great products. If you guys like organic stuff, definitely check them out. They got all types of amendments. Big up to Jeremy, man. He's also educating a lot on YouTube, man, and doing some great stuff just to educate, help the people, and spread the knowledge. And that's what this is all about, So that's why I'm asking you guys all these types of different questions, man. So since we touched on seedlings and stuff like that, and germination, let's sort of move on to seedlings a little bit. Like after you germinate and all that, do you guys go into solo cups? Like, because I know some people aren't fans of solo cups at all. So Chris, I know you pop tons of genetics. It's like Pokemon over here with you. You got to catch them all, bro. I know that. So like, do you just have like tons of solo cups or do you have like tons of bigger pots? Like, how do you do it, bro?
So we use the cocoa coins, and that's where they go right after germination. And those are pre-soaked in the recharge so that you get all of that stuff right on the root at the very beginning. And then we do go into solo cups and the solo cups are for the 2-week home during the seedling stage. So if I'm using grow dots, I'll use 5 grams of grow dots in with the solo cup. If I'm using your organics, I'll have already pre-treated my soil for a week before I go into solo cups so that it'll start right when I want it to. Because a lot of people forget that organics, no matter if it's granule or the whole process, it takes 2-3 weeks to break down. The granules right here take 2 weeks to break down. So you just plan accordingly. So that's why I fire it up a little bit before we put them in there.
Yeah, that's a great point. And for me, like I love solo cups, man, and I found that like bottom watering really helps me when it comes to running in the solo cups, not overwatering. You know, you stick a few holes in the bottom, but then
Right.
you gotta have like a drain pan or whatever. So I just use two solo cups, and that one at the bottom acts like a drain pan. I cut a big hole at the bottom, and I all my roots can go through, so there's no
Right.
transplant shock. And I'm with you guys, man. I like the solo cups. But what about you, El? What do you use solo cups as well?
I do for photos. I'll use a solo cup and then go up to the 1 gallon from there. But for autos, I typically just put straight into the forever pot,
Got
you know,
you.
where they're gonna
Yeah.
flower.
And what about you, Rue?
Yeah, I'll do photos in the solo cups if I'm going into soil. Right now I'm running my hydro bucket, so I just put them in these little pods or whatever. I just
Hydro.
soak them, and then I put them in my little net. And when I do them that way, when I first put the seedling in there, I will make sure and bring my water all the way basically to the bottom of the bucket or the bottom of the net. So
Yeah.
it kind of makes sure and keeps it soaked. One time I think I had one die on me because I left it about 1.5 inches. When you do it, you leave about 1.5 inches between your bucket and your net, or the top of the water and the bottom of the net. So you leave that. So I did that. I think one dried out. So now I'll just put them in there and I'll put that water right under there. And then they pop out of there, and then I'll just, if I need to, I'll add extra rocks or something. You know what I'm saying? Just like you're filling in soil. But yeah, and if I'm doing soil, I'll do solo cup, and then I'll just stack up to whatever I'm doing. Normally I stop at 3 or 5 gallon fabric, or mainly I try to do fabric, but whatever, you know what I'm saying? Plastic works, whatever. Vulture can, who knows? You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Now, both of you guys sort of actually mentioned something real interesting there. And I think that it kind of takes us nicely on to our next one. You know, I like to transplant up from the solo cups. The solo cups gives me a real good foundation for me to have a nice little root ball. So everything sort of gets real nice and firm in that root ball. Then I transplant up to a 1 gallon, sort of like what El said. And then I go from a 1 to a 2 or 3. But I usually just go up incrementally. And on the Seed to Harvest series I had recently, where a lot of people have been seeing me doing all my stuff in the garden, they're like, why do you go from solos to 1 to 2s to 3s or then to 5s? You know, like, well, why do you do all that transplanting? It seems counterproductive. But for me, each time I transplant up, the root ball gets even bigger and gets a chance to establish itself a little bit more. And I just found that I have the best results that way. You know, I've had great success that way. So I think there's actually also some diagrams and scientific proof and research that each time you transplant up, it helps to build that root ball. So what do you guys do? Do you guys do a bunch of transplants to get into the veg stage, or while you guys are in the veg stage, or do you guys just leave it in one pot and let it veg?
So for my photos,
I typically do
stack.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I stack them up, solo cup, 1 gallon. If I'm going to go bigger than a 5, I'll go to a 3 gallon and then to like a 7 or a 10. But it continues that vegetative vigor. Sometimes when you plant in a bigger pot and those roots just get lazy and stuff like that, it doesn't maintain that vigor, that constant strength shooting to put out all those new sprouts and everything else. So that's why I up. And I'm trying to follow the way Cortez the Conqueror does his autos, because he transplants autos and they are ginormous. You know, if you didn't know better, they were photo periods in his tent.
So gotta say shout out Cortez. That's my boy too. Shout out Cortez.
Transplants autos, dude, and it's like magic, dude. He says you get a feeling and you know when it's time, and that root.
He's the autoflower whisperer, dude.
Yeah.
Seriously.
It's time. It's time.
Transplant time. Doing some ASMR with that autoflower.
The diagram here, yeah.
But this is actually a diagram that I saw, and then this never left me ever, bro. So this diagram is basically the reason why I transplant so often as I do. And I will probably show you guys in the next Seed to Harvest video. I'm gonna pull this back up. But this diagram just sort of stuck with me. Like every time you repot and transplant up, the root zone literally increases. Without that transplant up and having that root ball for it to sort of work with, it just does not do as well. Based on what I found that the roots become a little bit, like, I don't know, it just doesn't hold the plant up as well. The roots don't do as well. When I pull the root ball out after harvest, it's not as thick and as full and lush that it looks like I would like it to, so maybe there is some truth to it, guys. Let us know what you guys think about this in the comments. But what about you, Rue? What do you do?
When I transplant up, I'll probably go solo cup, 1.5 gallon or so, and then 3 or 5. I only transplant the one, the once or twice. I know people swear by, like you did, that the constant little, the transplanting all the time, and plus you're giving it fresh dirt and everything. You know what I'm saying? You're giving it a look down there too. You know what I'm saying? So I understand the method of it. I'm just kind of lazy. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's all
I
that really comes down to is laziness. Is why I
feel
don't do it.
Yeah.
To be honest. So yeah, I believe in it. I just don't do it.
Yeah,
I
feel
just
that.
solo one and a half or something.
You know that feeling
My
when you
man's
get a new
honest.
pair of shoes and then you're just getting into them and you get that groove and everything? That's
Yeah.
exactly what it is when you're up potting for the plant.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like to do it, but I do feel you on that, Rue. Like, I'd be so lazy, and sometimes I leave them too long, and they definitely get root bound, bro.
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
the leaves look yellow and shit, and I'm like, dude. And then people say I'm a horrible grower on YouTube and all types of stuff, bro.
Yeah, because you showed everything. Yeah.
Dude, you guys stay on point, dude. They love ragging on you for some reason. I don't know why.
It is
Dude,
what
but
it
they
is,
do.
man.
They love ragging on you. That's been from day one. It seemed like.
Yeah,
It seemed
man.
like day one. I remember watching. Everybody's like, "Dude, you're horrible." I'm like, what's
I don't know
wrong?
if it's my
I
voice.
thought
People
we're here to
pick
have
on
a
me
good
just because of
time.
that too. Like, I don't know, bro, but
Yeah.
there's some reason behind it, man. But I'm just out here to spread the info, and I don't hide anything. And I think that that's super important, man. It's not about having the
100.
best grows and just showing people the pretty buds. And literally, growers go on and you'll pick their plants off, cut off all the ugly leaves, and then go and do YouTube videos. Like, I just take you guys straight into the freaking garden, man, and I don't hide anything because a lot of the times that's exactly what you're going to run into. You're not going to run into a tent that's fucking ready for Instagram just like that. Like, it's gonna take some effort, bro, and this is probably what you're gonna get. And I was surprised because recently I did a harvest video. We're gonna run you guys through everything. We're gonna go on veg, flower, and harvest just now, but I did a harvest video and I harvested some heavy 7-gram buds, and I did not do any fancy trimming at all, bro. I literally left all the sugar leaves on there, and I was like, man, people are gonna rake me over the coals when I show them this flower. They're gonna be like, this flower looks like shit. It's not trimmed properly. Matt, what are you doing? There's no trim job at all. And I showed it, and surprisingly, a lot of people like, I don't do a crazy trim job either. I leave my flowers just like that. I like the bud blankets. I leave them on there. It helps with the moisture and all that. And I was like, wow, well, that's pleasantly surprising. I actually got a good reaction for once. So it's crazy.
Yeah, dude, I'm the same exact way, man. I trim it down to where it's good enough to where I don't have to sit there and trim a bunch of stuff when I go to use it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't make it look beautiful and pretty.
Yeah,
I kind of like
if you're just consuming it yourself, just knock off those extra leaves. I mean, then if you're maybe gonna show it to some other person, you might hit it up one more time.
Yeah, then you trim it up nice and bring it with you.
It's almost close to this. You know what I'm saying?
But if you're just consuming it yourself, I've seen like a lot of people say they just break it apart when they're going to throw it in the grinder.
Yeah.
They leave it on there.
Yeah.
So
It's all
that's
going the same
crazy.
place.
I know a dude that does not even take off sugar leaves. It's just fan leaves.
Yeah.
He will smoke everything.
Bro, there's some people don't even do any curing at all, but we're gonna get into that in a little bit, man. But last question on the veg stage, man. Actually, last two, because there's one that comes to training. A lot of people like to do a lot of different types of training. So when it comes to training, you guys got any preferences when it comes to training? I just like topping and low stress training, but there's so many different options. What do you guys do? Let's start off with you, El.
I do. I don't top usually. If I do, it's on accident.
Okay, interesting.
What I like to do is I like to train all the bottom branches out, so that they can get to the light, and then they kind of raise up and even out with the main cola. Yeah. So a lot of people start with the top and train that way. I usually bend the top down and then put a bud trainer on there just to fold it over, and then I'll start on the bottom and just pull those branches straight out so that they get around the plant basically to catch up to the top.
Yeah. I like that, man. And the beautiful thing about growing is that so many people do different things. So for me, I always top, and hearing that you don't top at all is, it's like, man, he doesn't top at all. Shout out to Truth. Truth says it doesn't have anything to do with laziness, just thinks it's silly, adding 2 to 4 inches around it. So there are a lot of different opinions when it comes to, how you grow and stuff like that. And there's no right or wrong answer. So what about you, Chris? When it comes to training, what's your preference? What do you suggest someone doing? Because super cropping is a really high stress training method. And I did that one recently myself, and the branch got real low down. It's alive. It's not broken. I didn't snap it off, but I'm still like, man, is that branch okay? Like, so what about you? Do you do anything crazy like super cropping?
No, not super cropping. We like to use the bud trainer clips. If you followed me a little bit, all of my plants have like S shapes in them with hard knuckles because we keep the canopy even. And I try not to have a net. With certain systems, you've got to have a net. That's just the way it is. But we like to just use the bud trainer clips and keep everything pulled out and have an even canopy for when we
Spread
flip
that
the
baby
flowers.
out. No diddy.
Yeah, you get more bang for your buck if you can keep stuff leveled out and it's all getting the same amount of light. The same idea with scrogging, but if you can do it with your clips and keep it down, it's much easier, especially like us, how we like to move plants around and look at them and things like that. With the scrog net, you can't do that.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
That's why I fold the top of mine down so it'll slow down the top and then it allows the bottoms to catch up.
Yeah. I
But
like
you've
that.
got with the low stress training and stuff like that, you've got to make sure that you've got your silica in there for the strong branch walls. Otherwise, you're just going to have stuff flopping all over the place. That's one of the reasons why a scrog net's used, is so that it's not falling all over the place.
Yeah.
But with new science and new white papers, there's a way to do it so that those branches are strong enough to support the fruit, just like an apple tree or something else along those lines.
Interesting, man. Yeah, I think it's super important to actually get some of that silica in there. Those things really help. And someone asked me recently, like, and this is in the iCan Facebook group. So you guys join up with that group. You guys, that group is popping. It's popping. My homie Chris is always in there, bro. But someone asked, like, my buds are getting too big and they're starting to flop over. Should I harvest it or should I like run it out? Like, I was like, bro, definitely don't harvest it. Like, don't harvest it at all. Stake that baby up. Grab some bamboo, some PVC pipe, like grab whatever the hell you can, some yo-yos up to the ceiling of the tent.
Tie it to the tent pole.
Stick it up,
Yeah,
bro.
man.
Stick it up, bro. Don't harvest it, bro.
Tie it to some other stems and keep it all. Whatever you can do. Whatever you can do.
When they're flopping over like that, if you run into that issue, you can go in and it can kind of like look like a spider web on the main branch, the stalk, and you can just pull buds up and you can use that main stalk to help support it. Because when they start flopping over, you're not getting light under here. You got the microclimates that Matt always talks about close to the tent walls. And you don't want to run into those issues. You've got nice big flowers. Let's finish them off.
Yeah, it's true though. Like someone actually, we're gonna get into flowering in a bit by it. So let's actually let me ask you guys the last question when it comes to the veg stage, right? Because we're talking about getting those big, nice flowers and avoiding microclimates. I want to go back to that one. But how long was your guys' ideal veg, right? So like you want to, like someone's thinking about vegging their plants. One of the biggest mistakes they can make is vegging it and flipping too soon. You get a small plant and you're really upset with yourself because you got a small harvest at the end of that. You want to get a nice harvest with some nice flowers. So what do you guys think is the ideal veg stage, even though it may range based on the strain and be strain specific? What would you guys aim for? Let's start off with you, Rue.
Vegging, if I'm doing soil, I try to do at least about 6 weeks on soil or so if I'm doing that. But my hydro buckets, like I said, I've only really ran autos in my hydro buckets, but those things get huge. So honestly, on these photo periods that I'm running, I plan on only running them probably about three weeks or so. Because I did when we did this for the seed to harvest, these other ones, these were the first photos I did do, but they turned out to be males. But I think by the week 4, man, they were like tall. They were too tall. They were going to like really stretch out. I was actually getting worried. So yeah, honestly, on these with my buckets, I'm probably just gonna veg for about 3 weeks. So yeah, like you said, it all depends on strains and how different techniques and what you're growing in and how you're growing. So yeah, to me, soil, if everybody's doing soil or cocoa, it's to me, I'll do about a month and a half. You know what I'm saying? Let it like establish, because I won't top either really. And then like so once you train or whatever, you want to give it time to bounce back and all this. So you gotta keep your eye on it. That's only gonna be a little over a month.
I would definitely say that sounds about right. It's strain specific, like you said, but they also like veg and flowering ranges for humidity, RH, temps, and stuff you dial in. And if you dial that in and get it really the optimal range that it needs to be at, then your plants will veg as fast as they possibly can. And everything will be so optimized. But when you really slow it down and slightly out of that range, or you get nutrient burn or some sort of deficiency, all that stuff slows down your veg time. So although there's that ideal veg time, you just got to make sure everything's optimal. And what about you, Chris? How long would you ideally veg for before you flip to flower to get some nice fat colas and all that stuff?
When I'm using the grow buckets, from the real buckets, I can't go anything longer than 4 weeks because it takes over the tent. But when we're in soil, the ideal is 6 weeks, something along those lines. You know, they'll sit in the 1 gallon depending on how long they can sit in there, and then we'll dump them into the 3 gallon or the 5 gallon. So, and then we usually wait a week and a half after transplant before we go to flip, just for the recovery. But along with these sip buckets, man, it's rock and roll from day one, from minute one. You know, it's a big hybrid system between our soil and Rue's hydro. But I mean, it kills it.
I've been seeing you guys crushing it, man. I've seen you guys crushing it. Okay, and L, what about you? How long would you veg for? Because you, I see you growing all types of stuff.
Typically 6 weeks, but I will say that on this first season we did a 4-week veg, and it turned out pretty good. It you know, I got a pretty nice harvest off my good.
That's cool, man. I'm seeing all types of different stuff in the chat too, like Cav Bars doing a sea of green, I think he said, and he's vegging at different times. Some people are literally, he says 24 hours, 10 days, then 12. So that's crazy. And meanwhile, on the other side of things, Jeffrey, shout out to Jeffrey, iCan VIP Bean Club, homie, I love you, bro, says he's guilty of over vegging sometimes. So he has a massive plant when he gets into flower. And it's too big.
You can over veg,
you know? Oh man, so your tent looks a little bit like mine, Jeffrey, where you got those big flowers just too crazy, and they're just flowers everywhere. But let's flip to flower, guys. We're flipping to flower, and let's talk about like some things when it comes to flower. And speaking of that, we got to shout out the iCan Flower Power, man, because this stuff is amazing. And Chris and Mo have been getting some awesome flades with the iCan Flower Power. It's literally awesome stuff. So if you guys want to give it a try and get that beneficial bacteria boost as well, give it a try, man. But when it comes to the flower stage, everyone wants to get the best flowers. And we were talking about microclimates. I think that we could probably start off there before I forget it, mainly because also that's something that people could run into issues with. Recently, I had some slurricane number 7 in my tent, and some fat flowers sort of dropped down a little bit lower than the others, you know, beneath the canopy and sort of against the tent wall, if you will. And when I harvested, bro, all the other flowers were fine. But on that one, I noticed there were like some cobwebby type things, literally mold on it, right? So I was like, okay, can't smoke that, gotta get rid of that. And that's one of the biggest risks that can, you know, hurt someone's soul. So let's talk a little bit about how important it is to, like I was just showing you guys up on screen, dial in your environment, especially in the flowering stage. So you just flip the flower, and you guys are probably in all different environments. So what do you guys do when you guys dial in your environments when it comes to flower? Let's start off with you, L, because I know you out there in Arizona, right?
Yes.
Is it Arizona? Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I remember.
I am in a very hot climate, so it's very dry, very hot. But I have the AC running constantly right now because it's super hot. So
one of those mandatory things, man. The AC.
Yeah. So my tents run at 85 right now at 56 relative humidity, and that's pretty much throughout the day, unless we were having, like last week we had a heat spell, so it was running like around 90. Yeah, and I mean, there's aside from getting another air conditioner to put in there, there's nothing I can do about that. So I just basically focus on the humidity and keep that between 56 and 62 as much as I can. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I know Chris is like at a similar environment of mine, which I harp on about all the time. So I want to ask you, Chris, but Rue, what about you? What do you do for your environment? You dial in things in flower because that's part of the process. I'm sure you pay attention to.
Honestly, I don't really. I don't really try to dial anything in. I do control the temperature. Yeah. And if anything, when everything lights come on, I open everything up. I open my door open for my veg room. I leave it all the way open. If this tent lights on, I crack it open and have it open as much as possible. I'm around my plants. I try to have music going, talking to them. I just hang out and hover over them probably way too much, but I don't really do that. So I just kind of keep this whole area. I mean, luckily I don't, unless a storm comes in around here, I stay around like 50-60% humidity really. in this room with this AC going.
Gotcha.
So this air conditioner adds a little extra humidity in itself. You know what I'm saying? So, but when I got this, I got a ceiling fan going. So either way, when it does start getting a lot of humidity in here, I'll just make sure to turn every fan on I got and just keep moving the air. Luckily, I have never ran into any problems with flour or anything like that. So fingers crossed it still works, but that's how I do it. I really don't do all. I just stay really on top of temperature, and then like I said, if I get a high humidity, I still got my exhaust fans in there. I got one that exhausts up to the in there. I got an exhaust fan that goes to the attic and whatnot, and this one exhausts out going up. You know what I'm saying? So these do have an exhaust system to get everything out. So it's on the whatever it cuts on at 60% or whatever, and cuts off. And then I got the high temperatures. I think my high temperatures 76, and then so yeah, they run about like 75, 76 during daytime, and then my night temperatures are like around 69. So like I said, I dial in my temperatures for sure. That's what I can do. And so yeah, besides my small little exhaust fans I have going here, I don't do that. I don't have a dehumidifier. I did set one up, but like I said, I really never really needed it. So yeah, I was tripping over it. It was getting in my way more than anything. So I got
more than it's a massive paperweight.
Yeah, so I was like, man, that's why I was like, I did have one. I have two of them. I just never need them.
Yeah.
So it doesn't really get that high. Like I said, I've never run into problems. So until I do, I won't hook one up, I guess.
I got you.
Well, I'm out here. I have absolutely no use for a dehumidifier. So I have two humidifiers that I'll use. That's why I say I focus more on my humidity than my temperature, because it's so hot out here and my AC only works so well. So
and that's interesting too, though, because you like a lot of people have that similar problem to you. Like when I was out in the Caribbean, it was super humid, super hot all the time. Shout out my homie Spanish Dre. He says, "Damn, 90 is high." Like right here in Colorado, it gets about pretty close to that. I would say even inside, it's like 80 something where I'm at. So it's pretty fucking warm. But he's asking, do you have ducting going out the window, L, to get that warm air out of there?
No, it just goes out into my my room, my lung room, basically.
Yeah, I got you, man. Now that's pretty interesting, man, because I wanted to touch on something, and I think the training in the form of defoliation can actually be really useful in those situations where your environment is a little out of whack. If things are too warm, too humid, you just get too many leaves on there, that can cause huge spikes in humidity. So if you cut off some of those leaves, some people just do defoliations during flower. I was actually reading up a little bit more on swazing, because that's something I want to do on the next Seed to Harvest series. I want to do a really aggressive sways on all the plants. I'm talking cut off all the fan leaves within the first month of flower. Like within the first month, I'm going to do like 2 sessions and take off all the fan leaves, bro. And it's just going to have like stalks going in there. So obviously it's going to have a lot of air circulation because there's not that many leaves, but that's a really aggressive defoliation. So what do you guys think about like defoliating your flower? It doesn't have to be aggressive, but do you guys do it? Let's start with you, Chris.
I do it prior to flipping the flower, and then 21 days, 42 days, and then right before I am going to harvest, I'll take all the fan leaves off for harvest. It just makes it easier for us at the end. Yeah. So any fan leaf that's not attached to a flower site, inside the flower, those ones stay on, but any of the other ones go away. And then, it's really dry here, so it's very easy for me to pump humidity in to dry for the 14 days.
Yeah, I feel you, man. But like I was literally going to do it, and I was like, this sounds really pretty cool. And I went and did some research, pulled up a Reddit post, and someone said, "Swaging ruined my grow. Oh my God." So I was like, maybe I should take a rain check on this, start to read through the comments and see what people are saying. But, I just want to see if you guys do anything like that. Now, swazing is really aggressive. That's like super aggressive. But I think defoliation, there's definitely some use in that. Even if your environment's dialed in, a little bit of defoliation can help divert those plants' growth hormones to those buds up top, and you can get some really nice flowers, because nothing is worse than having a bunch of larvae flower to trim during trim time. Like that just sucks. But what about you, L? Like what do you think about like the whole process of defoliating during flower and thing?
Well, I mean, I defoliate constantly. Like I just literally, if I see shit that's blocking light or anything like that, I'll just cut it off. And
Yeah.
I don't have like a set time that I do my defoliation. I just, because I'm constantly looking in my tent, playing with my plants and stuff. So if I see stuff in the way, I'll just get rid of it.
Yeah.
So
It's
I
not one of those
defoliate big
things.
time. I just don't do it on a schedule. I do it as
It's
I
not
go.
one of those things you consider as a job. It's not like on the to-do list because you're always in there doing it anyway, motherfucker. I feel you.
I'm like, oh, that little fucker's in the way. Let's get rid of him. All right.
Yeah.
No, that one's in the way. Let's get rid of that one.
Bro, I don't think I've looked in my tent for like 2 days. I think I watered it 2 days ago and I haven't looked inside yet. I made a note to myself. I was like, you got to check that tent today, bro. You probably need water and they need something. Like, have a look. But like, you in there all the time.
Going crazy with that. I don't know how you guys do that. I got to be in there looking all the time and shit. I don't know how you guys do that.
On top of them.
I was going crazy when I went to Colorado, not being able to do anything about my plants. I was like, dude, checking my phone.
I'm so lazy.
You guys got cameras in your tents and stuff?
I do. I set the real buckets and then I'll check in like 2-3 times a week with the camera.
Yeah.
Then because the reservoir lasts a week, and if everything's dialed in, I've got the AC Infinity app. It alerts me if anything's off. And so I mean, with the cameras and everything, I'll look at them once, twice a day on my camera, but I don't go into my grow tent. I've got a busy life here. It's rough content creating and having a full-time job. So Scotty Real turned me on to these with recharge and grow dots, and it doesn't get any
easy, baby. Yeah, I'm all about easy, man. That's why I went with the iCan organic shot. I know I don't have to feed every 3 weeks, like minimum. Like I can just let the plants do their thing, and we're good to go, man. But what about like in flower? Do you guys dial in like DLI, PAR, PPFD, all those things? Because I know some growers are really finicky and they want to dial all that in. They got all the tools, the instruments, the meters, and the readers, and all sorts of stuff. But for me, I don't like overly fuss about some of those things. But what about you guys? Let's see what you think, El.
No, I don't really. I mean, with the light, I have the orange thing. God damn it, the pulse. There you go. And I can use that. The pulse pro. I have that. I use that to read the light, but I don't do it very often. I basically just go with the distance. I just go a certain distance from the canopy and just leave it there. I mean, I only have the ion board lights, so I don't have bar style lights. So, I don't feel like I need to worry about getting it too high because it's not going to put out all that much anyway.
Yeah, true. I don't even run my lights at like 100% for a lot of the time. I increase slowly sometimes, but then I've got like a perpetual harvest, so I got plants at different stages of flower. So do you guys run like a perpetual system? Because I know a lot of people want to get the most flowers. So what about you, El? Like, do you run a perpetual system? Do you worry about DLI, PAR, PPFD, and all that stuff? Like, how do you run your flowers? I do run a
perpetual system, but I do not worry about the light and all that. I have one tent right now that's 12-12 and one that's 18-6, and then I have some seedlings. I have some in flower. I have some in veg, and I pop autos and photos so that I constantly have stuff coming out, and then I constantly have stuff going in. I mean, I lose track sometimes, honestly, because I get so much shit going on. I get into something. I'm
notebook. That's a good one, Rue. What about you, Rue? Do you have like a bunch of different? Because I always see your Instagram videos, bro, and you kind of got it coming in real quick and going out.
I try to constantly have something going on. On the 2 lights in there, they basically stay at like 100%, and I just kind of adjust them up and down.
Okay.
They're old school spider farmers with the ballasts you have to take off and use a screwdriver to do. So I've messed with them before, and it seems like I've cut them down too much and then forget to cut them back up. I can actually just leave them up, and I'll just, if I think they're getting burned, I'm in a closet, a walk-in closet, so I can almost take my lights all the way to the ceiling about 8 feet if I need to. You know what I'm saying? I can bring them up. I've never had to run into like burning them with those. So I leave those at 100%. Then I have one little, just like a straight bar light I have in the corner. And that one I do adjust, I'll put on like the seedlings or something under there. And that one just, goes up like 20, 40, 60, 80 to 100 or something. It just clicks up like that. And then this one in here is an infuse, and this one is normally it's a pretty big light, so I can't remember what size it is, but by the time I bring them in here, if I'm taking the photos from here to here, I'll probably have this at like 60% or so. And I only crank this up to about like 85%, 90% in here when I flower. I've never had to crank this thing all the way up. I'm always having something. So I'm adjusting lights in there up and down. And then the other ones I have, I can actually have the
feel you. I feel just last night I was thinking to myself, like, it's so relieving knowing that I have a lesser chance of burning down my entire crib because I don't run all my lights on 100%.
Yeah.
Isn't that a relief? Like, small things make me happy, guys. Small things make me happy. Oh man, but Chris, like, I want to ask you a really important question, man, because you always come over to the studio, we always hanging out, we always smoking up, and you always hook me up with some really nice homegrown flower. And I seen you guys just did a massive harvest with all of the iCan genetics. Shout out to Mo, man. Mo, if you're watching, you're awesome. But you did a massive harvest.
Shout out, Mo.
She's the shit. And you guys used some of the iCan veg back to flower power and ran some of the organics, right? But when it comes to harvest, man, that's the most important part of the entire process for me, in my opinion, right? So when it comes to harvest, dry, and cure, let's talk a little bit about that real quick. What do you guys do for the harvest, dry, and cure process? Like, I know some people don't worry about the dry at all. Some people just want a quick dry. They just, it doesn't matter to them. What do you guys do, Chris? How do you go about your post-harvest process? Just break it down. If it's a plant is ready to cut, what are you gonna do?
So we've already stripped all of the fan leaves off. So it's just the sugar leaves. We'll chop it and I'll hang it on one of those portable clothes racks. And we put it in a room, and I've got a humidifier bumping at 60%. I have a dehumidifier bumping at 60%, and then I've got a AC unit pump. It's as low as it can go, and it gets the room about 64 degrees.
Yeah.
And I'll do that for 14 days. Matt, we were together at the DGC Cup. There were 73 entries.
Yes.
If I had to guess, over half of them had cardboard terps or something like that. So the competition was really only like 35 entries. So coming from us who've won a couple competitions and things like that, it's just that slow and low. A lot of people do it other ways, but
yeah, I gotta say also, shout out to you, Chris, because you took home was a third place in the DGC Cup the year before, and I think this year Mo placed in the top 10. So shout out to you guys, number 7. Yeah.
Yeah,
and Mo's tapped in right now. She says, Chris, share all our secrets. I hope they're all suitable for the show, though.
So if you guys don't have to take my word for it, I look up to Jeremy at Build a Soil. Yeah. You control what you can control, but these numbers have been proven. There are new white papers coming out saying maybe those aren't the exact numbers. But, I mean, I've been doing this for a long time, not actually growing, but consuming homegrown and stuff like that. And this is the way that it's been done for years.
Yeah, that's true.
Some people want to take shortcuts. Other people have to do it differently because of their environment. Just control what you can control.
Yeah.
But you start losing terps, the higher temperature that you have the room in, and then you start losing, start risking bud rot if you're over 65% humidity. Yeah. So you just got to watch it.
All those things are so true, man. And this is from a guy who got a flower sampled by tons of people in the community at 2 separate DGC Cups consecutively. And both of them did awesome, man. Both of them. So, Chris, awesome tips, man. But Rue, what do you do? If you got a plant, it's about to harvest, you're about to cut that baby down. You got a bunch of James Loud genetics, bro, and you're going to chop them all down. What are you going to do? How are you going to harvest it?
I do the same thing. I chop off pretty much all the fan leaves.
Okay.
I'd use a cardboard box, but mine don't have cardboard box terps.
True. So you got like a real old school G in a cardboard box, bro.
So yeah, I'll do whatever right now. See, I got the other ones of these out in the living room, and I just built like a makeshift wall. You know what I'm saying?
I love that.
So I just do whatever I do. Like you said, you can only control what you can control. Normally, I can control the temperature, and so that's what I do. I'll try to get it as cold as I can. Right now it's about, I have my little thing right here. I could show you, but
your little RH.
So right now it's about like 60. It's 63 degrees, 62, 60 degrees in here. So I get it down here. for all this. I try to dry in here if I can. Like I said, this one's been drying perfectly. It's just been hitting lights. So you try to get out of the lighting. So yeah, I'll do a cardboard box. Just put a rod through it and put holes through it, and just stay on top of it and check it. That's how you avoid all that hay smell and, like you said, the cardboard box terps. Just don't let it sit there forever in a cardboard box. That's like you're not storing it there. You're only getting it down to about 60%. If I'll have a little humidifier that I'll put on top of it, and I'll check it. And if it's like 55, like 2 days in a row, I gotta jar it up immediately, and then I'll just either start burping it. Because normally right there, if you're still doing the cardboard box, you can hit about like 5 days and start jarring it, and then just start burping the hell out of it. You're still really drying it at that point. I guarantee you grab those stems, they're not totally snapping. The little buds aren't coming off all the way. You'll grab them and you'll see the little strands coming off with it. If that's happening, it's probably not dry all the way yet. So yeah, it's just different ways. Control what you control. Stay on top of it. So
I like that.
Put a little hydrometer in the jar, and if it's spiking, take it out and put it back. Or another thing I was about to say, I have a whole bunch of trim bins up here right above me. I put them in trim bins, and that's actually probably like the second step I do. I'll leave them in there, and then I'll kind of leave them in the trim bin and just in a cardboard box itself. And I just have them like stacked up here, like right above me, honestly. And they'll be in there for, I don't know, a little while, about a week maybe, before I trim them up slowly.
I gotta say, man, control what you can control. I'm gonna take that one from you guys because I like that, man, and that's what I do. I didn't even know I was doing that, but I like that one, man. I just like DIYing a bunch of shit, man, because I ain't got like a bunch of excess funds to spend on all types of stuff, and I just like to see what I can get away with.
Oh, one day I will have a grow room. You know what I'm saying? I mean, a drive room. One day I will have a complete drive room.
I love that, bro.
You know
and I seen people. I use the cardboard box myself. I seen people use spare bathrooms. Like I dry in a spare bathroom. I got like it's just sometimes what you can use. Like the bathroom works okay in the winter, but not in the summer. Or is it vice versa? I don't know. But either way, shout out to 123. He says, my lung room is my man cave, right? So it's whatever you can control. It's all about that. And yeah, man, I think that's crazy. What about you, El? If you're going to harvest a plant, like what would you do? Like, do you do something similar?
Well, no, I'm completely different. My typical method is I'll take most of the big leaves off, but leave all the sugar leaves and everything. And then I cut all my flower off and I place them in the Scott Herbs Now dryer. And that thing runs for 96 hours. I check that throughout. And then right before, I don't let it get to where it completely snaps. I get right before it snaps. Then I'll put them into the grow bags. And I try and leave them in there for at least 4 weeks. But being impatient and a stoner, I typically dig in about 2 weeks.
So you don't heat seal the bag then, I take it.
No, I do not. No,
He's digging in that baby. But I gotta say, I got my grow bags on me right now. I've been also digging in, and I got my jars on me, and I love them both, man. I love mixing them up.
The grow bags. I love those things.
I need to get more. People like it. Yeah, a lot of people like it, and that's where we can actually, just segue real quick because I did see one question come in, actually one comment come in, and someone was talking about the winter pass for the iCan Frost Cup. And if you guys want to get some Grove bags, homies over at Grove Bags are going to be hooking the guys up. Whoever's in the iCan Winter Cup, if you guys want some Grove bags, they may be hooking you guys up with some complimentary Grove bags. So we'll definitely join up with the iCan Championship Frost Cup. It's going to be epic. We got all sorts of stuff over there. We're looking for the frostiest flower. We're finishing the show on a bang, talking about flowers, drying and curing, free Grove bags. Like, it's going to be freaking epic, man. So, guys, definitely join up with the iCan Championship Frost Cup, iCanWinterCup.com. Check us out on Instagram. We got tons of stuff going on there. And Rue's been doing some great work. El, my bad, has been doing some great work helping us out with some of the graphics on there. So, thanks for that, El. I really appreciate you, bro.
Hey, I got a question for you. So, I'm currently working on another one for you, and I was going with a Mario theme. Video games is kind of your thing, right? You like video games?
Bro. I literally just got a pet little chew dog thing, Game Boy Advance thing with a little detachable game for my dog, and I decided I'm going to keep it. The dog can't have it. So, yeah, I like it.
Talking when I was in Colorado, and the AI program that I use, it's kind of got my own style now because I've been using it for so long and getting my style of art. So
yeah,
I'm kind of working on trying to get a style more for you. So So it's been taking me a little bit
I appreciate
to kind of get my style out of it, because my style's all dark and demented and skulls and demons and whatnot. So
no, I feel you. I feel you. But I
I'm working
appreciate that.
and I'm starting to use a new program where I can actually animate some stuff. So I'm going to make one that's going to be really, really cool. So keep your eyes peeled for it.
Heck yeah, man. It's going to be epic, guys. So definitely check out the iCan Championship Frost Cup. And before we close off, check this out. Yep, so winter is here. It's going to be the coldest summer ever. Definitely be looking for that frost, guys. So join up, grab your winter pass, grow whatever strain you want. You can enter multiple strains to win. We're going to have 4 top winners. It's going to be epic. All the partners that are on board with us, it's going to be crazy. Whoever wins is going to win a bucket of genetics. It's going to be like the luck of the Irish with a massive bucket at the end of the rainbow. It's going to be epic, guys. So definitely join up and show some love, man. It's going to be cool.
A bucket of beans, huh?
Bucket of beans, bro.
Bucket. There you go.
Bucket of beans, bro. I got a bunch of different beaters to toss stuff into the bucket. So whoever wins is going to be taking in the grand fucking bucket, bro. I know someone's going to like that shit.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah, man. Now, before we actually close off, guys, shout yourselves out. Shout out your individual pages, the Seed to Harvest podcast. Let's start off with you, Rue. What's going on? What you got coming up? Like, shout out yourself, bro.
Rue's Goofy Growing. No spaces or nothing on IG. And then, I'm actually starting a new YouTube page. The other page I first started was like to an old personal email account. And so it's getting back and forth. I go because I have a Bruce Goofy Growing Gmail and everything. I've done everything else on now. So I'm going to start actually a new YouTube page. And I'm just trying to get over there, getting away from IG more or less, moving more and more onto YouTube. So that's where you're going to see more of my actual videos where I'm talking and stuff. Just IG shuts me down. You'll see me in California pretty soon. So go hit up my IG because I'll be going live a lot.
Hell yeah.
That's going on a little trip.
Yeah, I seen that, man. So shout out to the community for that, man, because I see a lot of people pitching. That's fucking dope. That's awesome.
Grower Joe Basement, dude. Without him, it wouldn't have been possible, dude. Right off the bat, he came up and asked me what I needed. He made sure I had it. So, dude, right off the bat, I was already set. I did the shirt just to have a little extra money to do this. He made sure I got my plane tickets, dude. He made sure it happened. So, dude, shout out to him. I've been following him for a long time when he used to just have the call in. Saying we should.
I remember that, bro. I've been following Joe a long time too.
Shout out to him, man. I really do appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Big up to Joe for sure. Now, what about you, El? You got a lot of great stuff going on, man. So tell us what you got going on. Tell the people where they can find you and what's coming up.
El Canasur on Instagram and YouTube. Those are my personal pages. I'm gonna start doing like Rue's doing more stuff on YouTube, I think, because Instagram's just it's ridiculous. So I think I'm gonna be trying to do that. More of my plants will be on YouTube, and then we also have the Seed to Harvest podcast on YouTube as well.
Yeah, the Seed to Harvest podcast. Like I said, you guys check it out. Give them a subscribe. Let's see if we can get them to 1,000 subscribers ASAP. So everyone who's watching, hit that fucking subscribe button and hit that like. Let's get them to 1K, man. That'll be freaking awesome. So let them know the iCan fam is over there. Go and drop a comment on their video and hashtag iCan fam. And speaking of that, I tell
you what, we get to 1K, we'll do a big giveaway. I got so many beans right here at my feet. I'll put together like a 5-pack, and we'll do a huge giveaway.
That sounds awesome, man. And I think Chris got something special for you guys soon too, man. But what I would do, what was I even going to say, man? Oh, go and drop the hashtag iCan fam on all their videos and let them know the iCan fam is over there supporting, man. But Chris, speaking of iCan fam, you're one of the oldest iCan fam homies, man. One of the true OGs. Shout yourself out, bro. Tell the people where they can find you, what you got going on. Shout Mo out too, because I see him in the chat. Let us know, bro.
So it's Canorado_Chris on Instagram, and it's Mo Grows Stuff on Instagram with the gardening and stuff like that. And then there's also an S2H Instagram, and check us out. And check us out. It's the Seed to Harvest podcast, spelled with a T. S2H. With a T. That's us. And we just finished a run of mats, and I've got the next 4 genetics from Matt. And so the next tent is going to be all his again.
Sweet,
Nice.
that's awesome. I got a packet of Hulk's breakfast for you, bro. I know
Right.
you want that. I know you like the Pokemon. You can't collect them all, and I got you, bro. I got you.
Yeah. So it'll be the Gas Tree, the Pop My Cherry, and then the Bingus Platinum Asset, and then the
yeah.
Hulk's Breakfast. So we'll have them all.
Yeah.
And in about 16 weeks, I'll have ran them all.
Hell yeah, man. That is awesome, man. So, guys, definitely subscribe to him. We already seen like over 20 of you guys already subscribed. So, going to help us get him up to 1K, man. But, boys, I got to say thank you guys so freaking much for coming on to the show, man. It was a great Monday sesh hanging out with all you guys, all the homies in the chat, too. My homie Ames, everyone, man. So, shout out to everyone in the chat and you guys. I really appreciate you guys taking the time to come and hang out with me, bro.
Oh,
Of
thank
course,
you.
man. Thank you for having us. I appreciate it.
Hell
Means a
yeah,
lot.
Always
man.
fun hanging, Matt.
Always,
Stay
it's
lifted,
always
brother.
a good time. Much love, man.
Shout
Well,
out, chat.
guys,
Love you guys.
before you guys head out, most importantly, guys, most importantly, don't forget, hit that like, but also stay high and stay motherfucking fly. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace, man. Weed so strong it'll burn a hole in your backside. Just joking, bro, but put it under the black light. Them chirps so strong, that trichome so